Wait. Welcome to Problem Solver Politics, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And we got a pretty cool live stream planned out. It looks like Eric Swalwell lives. His legacy lives on. We got to get this out of the way from the very, very beginning, all right? If there ever were an important topic to start out a live stream, it would be this topic. Cody, tell us what's going on.
All right, so the news of today, I guess you would say, I was looking around trying to figure out what's going on tonight. What is there to talk about? Well, and I mean, talking about news of the day, this was reported on BuzzFeed News, who I believe, I won't get into BuzzFeed News. Anyway, and as you mentioned, harking back to our good pal Eric Swalwell from California, who ran for president.
Great man.
You know what? If everyone who ran for president, he got some of the least out of it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Joe Biden on his live stream, because obviously in the current age, you know, with current events going on the way they are, a lot of live streams are being done for interviews for a lot of things. I think moving forward, it's going to be a bigger trend. However, there is one thing to keep in mind. When you are doing a live stream at home sitting on your couch, sometimes you get a little bit comfortable. And it's being alleged Joe Biden got a little... Can I just get one thing out of the way, too? Just
okay.
I know we're talking about it, but we're not we don't pretend we're like investigative journalists. We mostly just talk about what we see.
Yeah.
I love how BuzzFeed News has their breaking, the little... Over 100,000 people have passed due to the coronavirus. Wow. Hold on, though. There was a pretty loud fart noise during Joe Biden. Let's get into the Joe Biden fart. And the reason why I say it that way, because again, we're obviously talking about it, but later on in this article, they mentioned that the BuzzFeed News, they reached out to Joe Biden's campaign for comment on if he did fart or not. And apparently, they did get a response. However, here's the thing. Honestly, they kind of buried the lead here. The lead is that the Joe Biden campaign refused to confirm or deny if it indeed was a fart. I mean, as far as we know, as far as BuzzFeed's reporting, if I'm reading the reporting correctly, when reached for comment, the Joe Biden campaign did respond. However, they offered no confirmation or denial. So we'll get through. In the first
Well,
week,
they had a snarky comment that actually was really, really funny, and I'm gonna memorize and use for half of my responses. Do you have pulled up what they said?
yeah, well, hold on. Before we get too on to that, let's go to the tape. Right?
Oh yeah, you got to play the original.
We're gonna go to the tape now. Give me 1 second.
Roll the tapes.
Hold on, I almost turned our audio on, and we had our royalty-free music playing in the background still. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Apparently, according to chat, ain't no one want to hear that. I'm sorry, guys. We're working on getting our old intro back. However, this was the actual video right here of Joe Biden in question. So I actually have it queued up. You can see this is. Hold on. Let me prove it. This is the verified Joe Biden. This is the video as it appears on Joe Biden's account on YouTube. So we're gonna roll it. It happens at about 20:49. So about 5 seconds in, we're gonna play this a few times, and then we'll talk about this breaking story, so to speak.
Firefighters, police officers, and cut critical healthcare programs, or stop work on roads and bridges. So. What does the human cost
for whatever reason, the video there loaded a little bit weird. Let me hit back. But you're able to hear it a little bit. Give me a second to reload this webpage. The video will load up again with it. Unless, are they really in the process of taking this down? No, they're not. There we go.
Giant.
We're going to play it again. I'm going to play it again with the face. Watch the reaction of Governor Tom Wolf here. So we'll run it one more time.
You don't have to cut those teachers and firefighters, police officers, and cut critical healthcare programs, or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost?
Okay, one second. I have to admit, holy cow. I had been listening to that mostly.
That was juicy.
I had mostly been listening to this clip. Full disclosure, the first 4 or 5 times I heard this, it was through the monitors here in the studio. There was a fan on. Honestly, I was about to be like, this is ridiculous. Why is anyone talking about this? This could have been a million things. I'm going to play it one more time. Listening to it through headphones, I've kind of got a different stance. Play it one more time. I want to play some. We're going to go Zapruder film on this. But one more time, let's listen to it.
Firefighters, police officers, and cut critical healthcare programs, or stop work on roads and bridges. So, what?
Because here's the thing too. I don't want again. I don't want. We're not necessarily going to the tape here. Not breaking it all the way, but we did go to the tape. But I do have to say the cadence, I guess, of it definitely. We'll get to Eric Swalwell, who also had something like,
fart, or was it hitting the floor, man?
What's it called? The rhythm of it definitely. I guess here's a better way of putting it. It definitely had a very organic sounding rhythm, right? It didn't sound like the kind of thing. Eric Swalwell's defense, I think he said, was like someone moved something quickly. We'll go to the Eric Swalwell video.
Except for Eric Swalwell stops for a second. You can tell his diaphragm was like. Ugh!
But my larger point was, and you know what's crazy? And here I want to get to the larger context of this. But what's interesting though, I will admit, I did not know it sounded that bad until I heard it with the headphones on the last few times. However, this is something like we can lie and pretend this is something that's a reality of doing these live streams like this for people that are. Eric Swalwell is a little different. But like, dude, Joe Biden's how old? Like, we sort of pretend old people don't fart. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird, but it's one of the things of having these live direct thing. I guarantee you millions of politicians have probably trying their damnedest. I'll commend them. Accidentally farted in public.
Yeah,
I guarantee you millions have. The only thing is, it's funny is when we're doing these live streams like this. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. If you look at Tom Wolf's face, I got a better idea actually. The people at BuzzFeed actually put together this moving image of the reaction of Governor Tom Wolf when the noise was made. It's actually hilarious. Someone pointed out on Twitter, it's identical to a reaction image that gets posted on Twitter a lot. But it's weird, A, but B, it's also one of those things that I think is so ridiculous, goofy, and superficial that is people care about it. You know what I mean? People still talk about it. I mean, I brought it up. I guarantee you some of you guys in chat, when you first saw this, remembered this. Some of you that I like how they framed this, that a lawmaker denied ripping an absolutely enormous fart on light television.
Uh-huh.
This is, of course, talking about our boy, Eric Swalwell. So we'll play the Eric Swalwell one, which is on MSNBC. And then
I can't believe when I started this channel, I had no idea I would be listening to multiple politicians' flatulence for more than once a decade, and now it's twice in like 5 months. This is beautiful.
There we go. Here's the 5-second clip of Eric Swalwell from November of 2019.
Taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard, taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from Republicans, taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help them cheat an election. And
However, let's get to the more, because that's the goofy stuff of it. Again, I guess, hold on. You wanted to bring this up. I want to make sure I show this. So, again, BuzzFeed did reach out. And again, as far as I know, as far as I have read, Joe Biden would not confirm or deny that it happened. So when reaching out for comment, a Biden aide did tell BuzzFeed News that they are glad they are putting resources into this important story. And then one last thing, because here's the other thing I think is interesting.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? Maybe it's one of those kind of sappy moments, right? But maybe farting is one of those things. We can all clown on someone farting.
It's funny.
I mean, BuzzFeed News, they're not, as far as I know, I don't think BuzzFeed News is actively trying to get Donald Trump elected, right? This doesn't feel like blatantly partisan spun media in bad faith. And the BuzzFeed News audience, I mean, 56% of people in the poll voted that it was indeed made by Biden. With the next highest majority, there is 17% who gave the benefit of the doubt. 4% or 8% said there was a fart, but it wasn't Biden. It was either the other Wolf or one of the people in the studio. So
Wolf ain't taking the blame for that. His face is way too surprised, and he wasn't shifting in his seat. Somebody in the comments brought up a really good point that you can hear the chair creak right before it hits. Okay,
we'll play it one more time.
And
we'll go to the footage one more time and see.
And then I got something to say. We got to watch this one more time. Though.
I want to hear that chair creak. 1 second though. I need to pause this first. Here we go.
Making sure you don't have to cut those teachers and firefighters, police officers, and cut critical healthcare programs, or stop work on roads and bridges. So, what does the human cost?
The reaction of Tom Wolfe actually is pretty hilarious. He's just kind of like. What do I do? What was that? But here's the thing that's interesting about that, right? Though, no matter what how do you prove? I wish I had it pulled up. I probably can't show it for copyright. Do you remember, Cardin? You might remember this. There was a super viral Super Bowl commercial. I think the person who made the commercial actually won $1 million prize. There was some contest. Maybe that was wrong, but I remember there was some gimmick to it. And the whole thing was that a guy's going to put his bag in the overhead thing in an airplane, right?
Okay.
And it makes a farting noise with the door creaking. So then he keeps trying to make it creak again to show people that he didn't fart, and it was the thing. And it was, I think it's called, and I think I've seen other shorts called oh my God, the replication theories. But that's a very noted thing that if you make a noise that sounds kind of like that, people are just going to assume that's what happened. So I was thinking with Joe Biden, you look at this video, and even beyond that, I could show the video. There was, BuzzFeed News wrote an article about it. And if you just type in Joe Biden fart on YouTube, on Twitter, and see people talking about it on Twitter, a lot of people, this is the person who said it, by the way, that this is the face he made. And it really is the exact same face, but a lot of people, for whatever reason, are talking about the Joe Biden fart.
What do you mean for whatever reason?
BuzzFeed News was the most ridiculous one.
It's hilarious. That's the reason.
Oh, and then they did one of these videos too, where they do the fake
infrared.
Yeah, terrible stuff. But it's hopefully, all I'm hoping, because I have to admit also at the same time, now there's one other second controversy we might have to get into second. Another controversy, but we'll get into that second. First though, I don't think anyone who was voting for Joe Biden isn't going to vote for Joe Biden because he farted in the live stream, right? I don't think anyone's going to be like, well, that's it, too far. Is there anyone, let me know, maybe there is somebody, let me know in the comments, let me know in chat, is there anyone who's like, I was up to here with Joe Biden, and then he just went and did this, and now I can never, but I feel like most people would support him. However, there is some controversy to the, I don't even want to get in it, it's too crass to even talk about, but I guess you could say the depth of the alleged, the alleged fart here, but it's
the flatulent.
Yeah, well, I guess did it go beyond that? Is the second controversy we're having.
This is what's going through my mind, Cody. I think there's actually slightly deeper implications to this than people realize. First, I'll hit the super chats because they are relevant to my commentary. First super chat, thank you very much. Travis Greenhagen says, the country, quote, depends on Joe Biden. Travis, solid 9.5 out of 10 for puns. Solid 9.5 out of 10 for dad jokes. Are you indeed a father, Travis? Because if you are, I think that's an 11 out of 10 because becoming a dad makes dad jokes that much cooler. I loved it. Ironically enough, puns are the most intelligent form of humor, Cody. So you have to warm up to these before you have children.
That's a big citation needed right there.
No.
I'm not going to just get away with saying
sarcasm is the least intelligent form of humor.
Oh my
and
God!
Puns
hey,
are the most intelligent
that's
form of humor.
That's a really big cite. I feel like that's like a 90 like a parentheses in quotation mark. It's like on Wikipedia when you see a claim there's like 40 citations because everyone's like refuting it.
Yeah, so Sly Cactus also said, this is some real breaking wind news. Oh, keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen. I will read your super chat jokes all day long, any day of the week. Love them. I do have to say, Cody, this is not good for Joe Biden. If this were anybody else, I don't really think, like the Swalwell thing just died overnight because at the end of the day, Eric Swalwell isn't fighting off this stereotype glazed over memory care great grandfather that you're going to visit.
Definitely doesn't make you look younger.
It does not make him look younger. Like at first we were worried about his memory and now we're worried about his incontinence. Cause I got to tell you, that was juicy. Like, dog, that was juicy. I don't care what anybody says. I'm pretty sure that was a wet fart. Okay,
it is pretty. I mean, I will because going back to the Swalwell one, like I said, there's a certain like cadence or a certain rhythm to it. We'll play it again. Some people just joined chat. We'll play it again so you guys can know what we're talking about because it is absurd. It really is ridiculous. We're talking about this. However, it is weird, man. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it queued up. Here we go. We'll play this one more time. If anyone who just joined who wants to know what we're talking about.
Fighters, police officers, and cut critical healthcare programs, or stop work on roads and bridges. So, what does the human cause?
It's the kind of thing where every time I hear it, I just laugh. Like I can't. The Swalwell one, you can kind of like honestly, like if you think someone moved a chair or something, this one, it's like, ugh. Like any excuse you give me, it's like, dude, why did it go on? But again, whether or not someone, because I mean, it's the reality. I'm sure with different cameras and different microphones and different scenarios, people do things all the time during these interviews we don't normally hear, right? But so do you think there is do you think that will be some people who are like, you know what, that's it, Biden's senile and old if he's farting on camera? Like, you think there is that crowd? I think it's not going to hurt him.
This is the crowd. Okay. There's a lot of people who have not been plugged in. We talk about the muggles all the time because the muggles are the ones that choose elections. The politically disengaged are still that independent middle ground that's thinking, oh, I'm a Democrat because, you know, they're pro the gay guys and the Hispanic population. And I'm for those people. I'm for them, right? And they don't realize because they're not plugged in just in what bad shape Joe Biden is, because all they do is see pictures on occasional headlines, sound bites, and occasional news reports. Okay. But when this breaks through the noise of the fluff pieces that CNN and all the other broadcast news media sources are putting together for Joe Biden, they'll say, wait, he farted? Wait. And it's just, even if it's only shaving off one or two people, you know, or 1 or 2 percentage points, it's not helping him. Like, and it's completely feeding in to this stereotype that he is not physically capable of serving. Joe Rogan 2 weeks ago said because of his physical composition, I don't think he is capable of serving. And this has not strengthened the argument for Joe Biden. And if it's not you and I know, if you're not strengthening your argument, you're weakening your argument.
How about this? Why don't we just go? Why don't we go to the let's go to the comments. He did not. Okay, a little bit of forensics here. Is that the nonsense goofy word you use for this stuff? That first of all, the Joe Biden video on his account is being ratioed with 531 downvotes to 465. Which, you know what? I'm gonna give it an upvote, man. Cheers on him to keeping this up. He could have pulled this down easly.
Yeah.
Check this out though. Let's read some of the comments. So Jesus Christ, the farting was real. Governor Wolf wishes he could eat them. I'm not even gonna like it when they forget to turn off comments. I was surprised. I 1,000% thought when I was scrolling down, there's no way comments are enabled on this video. This is right here. This is one of the most popular ones. Came here for Joe Biden farting from Blorp Weatherby. It's almost popular. Who poops in my pants? But like you'll notice this definitely struck a chord. There is a lot of people who rushed in here to talk about Joe Biden's farting. But is it okay? I'm not gonna sit here and make a case for why it helps Joe Biden to fart on camera. I'm not. But a lot of these people normally have never gone to watch a Joe Biden stream, so he's got that going. Like marketing.
Oh man! So Trumper for Yang asks, YouTuber to YouTuber, have you ever farted on mic, or at least close? Just hit mute in time and don't lie. Talking to you, Cardin. LOL. Here's the honest truth.
Imagine voting for candidate.
Is I'm trying to think of a time I could not, maybe a really tiny one I could get away with in the studio, but I got to tell you, this is such an enclosed space that if Cody or I ever truly ripped one, I think it would be catastrophic. So I can, in 100% good conscience, say that I can't think of a time where I actually ripped one in here, because that would be absolutely brutal. However, it is possible, and there would be no Fartgate here because we've got these things. Mine's actually not hooked up right now because we move things around. We've got the silence buttons.
But to the point,
the cough drops. If you got to sneeze or cough, you just press this button. And I guess if you got to fart, you could press this button.
But like
too.
to that point, I will also say like I'm not a 90-year-old man. No, it's not as big a problem for me as it is for I guess Joe Biden. Like that does. I guess you're right. It is weird. For Eric Swalwell, it's just a goof, right? Nah, he's a young.
Another pun.
But for Joe Biden, it is kind of like, dang, dude, are you really that old where you just like can't help yourself anymore? It's like, imagine that. Like, imagine, I don't want to get too philosophical, but imagine if the president's in a meeting with like, some world leader and he's like,
yeah,
has a moment like that, right? Like, that can't be good. That can't be like, I can't help. I mean, you ever seen that scene? Ever seen the movie Step Brothers?
Step Brothers. It's such a generic title. I'm thinking of like
you remember
movies.
it if you had seen it. It came out like 10 years ago. It's pretty recent. With Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, where they fart in a job interview and they lose the job. But it's I don't know, man. I guess this is the biggest thing to me.
What?
The people believe it's real. The people are under the understanding
perception is reality.
That he did it.
Sly Cactus brings up a good point. He says, so what you're saying is, wait for it, he is an old fart. Oh! That's like an 8.5 out of 10. That's a slap shot from a third across the ice.
It's again, right? Like kind of like the problem that
well, come on, but this is serious.
Like,
what if the Queen came to visit him?
Than other people.
Like, what if the Queen came to visit him and she's sitting there,
not the
and
Queen.
Joe Biden just rips one salaciously on her.
Hold on, I want to point this out.
And the poor Queen is sitting there, and she's trying to she's trying to muffle her face with her kerchief or something. Like, this could be bad, man. If you can't hold that cheese in, do we want to have amongst the leaders of the world, it just well known if you show up to the G5 summit, Joe Biden is going to fart on you?
Okay, but how about this? Let me know in comments. Let me know in chat. How many people legitimately would switch their vote based on farting? I have to say, if you're the kind of person who's like, well, I was going to vote for Joe Biden, but not today, not anymore, not after that. That was, how dare he disrespect America, right? Like I don't know. I feel like the people, it's kind of one of the things that happens a lot of time when I read like anti-Trump headlines, for example. Just using him because it's like, dude, I know you, and every day you just write one of these, right? Like people who just every day are like, Joe Biden's senile, Joe Biden's senile, Joe Biden's senile. Like, they're just going to keep hammering. You know what I mean? Like, there isn't like, I don't know how many people are going to be like, no, Joe Biden is not old at all. And they're going to see him fart and go, wow, I guess he's old, right? Like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's the kind of thing where it's not this fart, but it's the fifth fart from now when people are like, dude, this Joe Biden guy's out of it. But I would legitimately feel bad for Joe Biden if he lost an election because he farted at a debate and it was like people are like, that's gross, how dare you. Like, that would just be so weird.
So
man.
we got a couple of people who've joined right here and are asking what on earth is going on. Andy Meows comes in and says, just joined, what the hell happened?
Oh, yeah, I love that. But shout out to who was it? Sorry, shout out to.
By the way, Ethereal says,
who said, "Yeah, we bullying
old people." Like,
pretty much.
okay, first off, how dare you call him old? That's ageist. Okay.
How's it ageist? He is old.
No, I was kidding. That was a joke.
Sorry, you had to explain it to me.
I was adopting the language of mine accusers, or of my oppressors, as you say. But I will say, to me, it's just really, really funny. It's not bullying. It's funny. And it does, however, have, I think, some on a small scale, lasting implications on what people think about him, especially in light of the fact that he is living up to every stereotype of somebody who is not physically capable
I think
of
that's
handling.
the story here, right?
Yeah, he's living up to every stereotype of somebody who's not physically capable of executing the office of the presidency.
But okay, remember, the reason why I wanted to bring up the Swalwell one as well, though, I don't think anybody said, like, oh, Eric Swalwell.
Because we don't think that he's on the verge of incontinence like an 85-year-old would be.
No, I agree. That's my point. That is interesting. And someone brought up, I think it was Dad is Mad, I think that's what it said. He asked if, he said if it was a wet fart, then he would. I got bad news for you, man.
By the way, this guy
should
should
one more time, ready?
He should just own it. Just admit to it. Just own it. People fart. It's the fact that he's hiding
Eric
it that's
Swalwell
funny.
wouldn't own it either. He wouldn't.
Firefighters, police officers, and cut critical health care programs, or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost
Okay, I will say one thing, though. That is definitely a sound anyone recording audio needs to be keenly, like, I don't care. I don't care if it's a seat cushion creaking. Just try not to have things that make fart noises around, especially when, like you said, you have if people are saying that Joe Biden's old and crazy, and you have him, like, letting one rip on camera. It's not good. And I agree with your point there. It's just weird to me because, like, fundamentally, it feels so ridiculous to be like, so why did you not vote for Joe Biden? Like, well, I was on Twitter one day and he farted in the live stream, and I'm like, that's just unacceptable. I mean, I refuse to support somebody. Like, that's just so disrespectful.
Well, the
to
dishonesty
America.
of it. No, it's not the disrespect.
The dishonesty.
He farted and he should own up to it.
Let me say
if
something.
he can't own up to a fart, how's he going to own up to waterboarding people extrajudiciously?
Was it Charles Barkley that said that he who was out sin can cast the first stone when it comes to lying about farting? Tell you what, yeah. So
name a time I farted on you in studio, dog, during a live stream.
That's not the point. No, the point is, I think which one amongst us has not been dishonest in this situation, right? Like, it would be when it comes to politicians and the lies they lie. Joe Biden lying about farting is way better than Joe Biden lying about all those people he probably got killed when he was vice president. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh no, how dare he lie about it? It seems absurd. I do agree, though. The only angle that makes the Joe Biden thing a little bit more interesting to talk about is just the fact that he is old, and it does have a second meaning, right? It's not just embarrassing, like, ooh, haha, it's like, oh, dang, is Joe Biden that old, right? And I definitely think that's to it. It's weird. I don't know, man. I really don't know what I think. I feel bad, like someone said, I feel bad just clowning on old people for being old.
No, but we're not doing that.
He's
running for the single most intellectually and emotionally and physically, I would say, difficult job in politics, outside of maybe possibly during wartime being, I don't want to say commander-in-chief because the president is commander-in-chief, but like a 5-star general of the Navy, okay? Like, I mean, this brother is asking the American people to entrust him with some super difficult situations, all right? And if you can't just, like, stop stuff, I mean, I all I can say is he's living up to every stereotype. By the way, we've gone 31 minutes talking about this, so, I mean, I guess we can move on to another topic. But
well, I mean, remember, BuzzFeed reached out for comment. And again, that's the ultimate lead here, guys. That's the give. Yes, it's weird, but, I mean, the Joe Biden campaign was reached out to, or an aide or a spokesperson, right, was reached out to and point blank asked, was that indeed did we hear what we thought we heard, right?
Uh-huh.
And they did respond, and all they said was their response to BuzzFeed News. Glad you're putting resources into this important story.
Which is a total yes.
But yeah, non-denial. They did not deny. So keep that in mind. Nobody said Joe Biden didn't fart.
By the way, how did this intern know whether Joe Biden farted or not? Because either he felt super conscious about it and said something, or that room stank.
That's the other thing, right? That's the other thing, right? Where it's like, how could I confirm or deny that someone else farted? You know what I mean? Like, how am I going to be like, I was there? I mean, really, you can't. You have to just... Yeah, it's a tough spot. But at the same time, it is worth noting there was no firm denial. There was no, that was absurd. Joe would never do that. So now we know Joe Biden maybe would do it. according to his own people. That's what gets you every time. But I don't know. That's ain't looking good for Joe.
So, I got to tell you, I'm reading the chats here, and I'm responding to guys in the chat, and they bring up some good points. With Swellwolves, I think it was Fartgate, because nobody doubted that was gas coming out. This should be called Sharkgate.
Well, because that's the question, right? Yeah,
Because
what was the veracity?
The veracity as in the truth of it, or the voracity as in the voraciousness of the fart, because that was a voracious fart. Dude, that's going into the new intro. Hey, chat, you guys got to tell me, does this not need to make it into the new intro for our live streams? Unfortunately, a lot of people in the chat have been talking about, why don't we go back to the original opening? I thought it was awesome. I'd purchased from Pond 5 some really cool original music. It's like $50 or $60 for each one of those little songs too. I dumped 150 bones. Yeah, and they still have an algorithm that searches, and it copyright strikes it. And if you fight it and say, oh no, we actually bought it, and you show the receipt, you can go through the 7-day process of doing it. But by that time, the stream's already demonetized. It's already a potential copyright strike, so they're looking harder the next time around. It messes with your algorithms. It's just not a good thing. So I have emailed multiple times over multiple weeks Pond 5 looking to remedy this situation, and they're not interested in working with YouTube creators. And I said, dude, there's going to be more people just like me who get so tired of this that we just are forced to move on to Artlist and sever the ties that we have with Pond 5. And I haven't gotten a response from them yet. So yeah, we're probably gonna have to redo the intro though, because when it's exported out of my editing software, it's only as pure sound. I can't go back in and just choose new intros and outros. So I've got to get new moments, political moments for the new intros. I'm open to suggestions. Should Eric Swalwell's and Fartgate and Joe Biden's Sharkgate be included?
Kind of legendary. But no, we'll talk about something else right now. What's going on right now in Los Angeles?
These people are clearing the room. There's all the interns outside of Joe Biden's.
Drove away. Early on, we saw police officers.
No, this is down in L.A. This is an L.A. protest in response to the
Sharkgate.
No, but the
on the freeway.
There's a million different words for killing people, right? But the incident that happened with the police officers, they're actually shutting down the 101 freeway in Los Angeles right now. I thought that'd be kind of. Oh damn! What? Oh my God, dude! Look at this.
Whoa, they're going to
I
town.
literally
Dude, they
that's
just
what I mean.
broke
Look, he's
the cop's
driving
car.
off. Look at this. Holy cow! I was about to say, okay, they're just standing around. It looks. Oh, is that a replay though? Is it that picture-in-picture for the replay?
Oh,
and then it looks like someone got hurt. Holy cow! Sorry about that, guys.
That's got to be LA, right? Yep.
Yeah, no,
Fox
it is.
11 Los
Yeah,
Angeles
it
News
is.
Live.
That's what I pulled up.
That's what we do in Los Angeles.
I pulled it up, so just like, oh, this is interesting. It just happened a minute ago. They shut down the 101 freeway. Holy cow, man, that was crazy. So now, here's the thing. So it looks like someone got hurt when the cop drove off.
What's funny is you
like,
can do that
all
in
of his
LA.
But I mean, like, all
Like,
the windows
cops
are
can't
broken.
do anything
no, but look,
here.
They've shut down the 101 freeway. This is the 101 freeway, not just the middle of some street.
Dude, that's
Look
bad.
how weird it is.
man.
The traffic's right there as well next to it. And then you can see the cars are just stopped. And I don't know why the off-ramp is. I guess they're trying to stop the off-ramp. I would just let them get off on the off-ramp so you don't have this big pile. Like, they're letting him off the off-ramp on the other side. But that was gnarly because now what do you do if someone is hurt, though, right? Like, are paramedics going to drive in there after what just happened? Like, crap, dude. That's like a mob of people. But they're definitely surrounding someone or something down there. See if they're saying it on...
How many cars would be at a stop at a station?
Yeah, weird. Sorry, guys. I honestly thought it was just going to be kind of like, oh, I saw that someone posted on Twitter pictures of this happening, a journalist. I'm like, oh, I'll throw the stream up so we can watch it real quick. That is crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff going on right now.
Dude, Joe Biden is farting
LA,
all up in his live streams. There's riots in Los Angeles. They're kicking in CHP cars. This is pandemonium. I can't think what is worse than political violence surrounded by the methane of your political rival. That is the definition of hell. Having to sit there smelling your political rival's farts.
Okay, well, it looks like the protesters are getting off the...
While the protesters are shutting down everything.
I don't know. I think this is a little bit more of a there than Joe Biden farted. That was crazy, man. They went to town on that cop car. That was crazy. Yeah. I will say, I don't know what that cop was thinking driving up there by himself. Like, it's a crowd of people protesting against police. You're just going to drive there by yourself. See how it goes for you, buddy. It's an interesting move. And yeah, that's how it went. But yeah, I wonder, dang, that's crazy stuff, man. But this is in downtown LA, by the way, where this didn't even happen. There is a lot of crazy stuff going on over in Minnesota, I believe. Or was it Minneapolis? I forget where it happened exactly. It's the city.
Wow,
City
they're
exactly.
really shutting that cheese down. And the 101, by the way, for you, those of you guys that don't understand, the 101 is the oldest freeway in California. It's literally built on El Camino Real, which is the royal road that is the road that all of the Spaniards took from mission to mission. It's the main thoroughfare through, I'd say, a large majority of civilization in Los Angeles was built around the 101. There's other freeways that go around it now, so on and so forth. But it's the main artery that Kim Kardashian takes to get home when she's in her Rolls Royce. And I think it's the reason why Kobe Bryant started flying helicopters, was because he was forced to take the 101 and it's insufferable traffic already. And for them to shut that down, that's huge.
I mean,
that's
you
really
can see just
huge.
kind of like one little street. Is this live footage of what's going on in
What is
Minnesota
going
right
on
now?
today? Wow.
Minneapolis. Is this live?
Man, you are asking for a canister.
Well, no, but what's
When
crazy
you start
is
throwing those rocks at the
I didn't
cops.
realize how behind I was on this, dude. This is obviously been going on for a day or so, but you could just see the environment. You can see the overtained bear. Whoa, what's going on in the crowd? Probably just the tear gas. Him throwing tear gas into the crowd.
Dude,
right
what
now.
a chump. Look at that cop that just threw that tear gas.
It's always the overweight ones.
What
every
an
time.
unathletic,
always the
overrate.
yeah.
Oh, and they're throwing it back. Now it's
course,
getting
yeah.
good, dude.
Wow,
And
it
here we
is-
can see
but-
protester
but
number
here-
5
but here's
picking up the
thing.
canister and throwing it back at the overweight
wait,
cop
but
who
like-
just threw it at the protester.
What's interesting about this, though, and the different thing about this is like interesting because this is when everyone's kind of on the same, not on the same side, but like most people, I've heard so shockingly few people be like, well, maybe it's like, I mean, my opinion is if that guy was literally an axe murderer, he didn't deserve to be killed in the middle of the street, suffocated like that, right?
No.
Like, even if they had video of him like axe murdering people, it's like, he doesn't deserve, no one, like, it's not about deserve, right? Like, who deserved that? You know what I mean? But it's crazy to see that there's certain people, and we saw Los Angeles. I mean, Los Angeles, how far? I mean, I guess you could say Los Angeles isn't that far removed from conflict.
So what are they
between the police and the
defending right
community.
now in Minneapolis, St. Paul? What are they defending?
That's the funny thing. Probably nothing at this point. Yeah, exactly. Why are they there?
This
It's
is
just,
why-
It's just, but you could see the temporary barricades and stuff. Like, this has been going on basically ceaselessly. I've been trying to keep it out. I feel bad I haven't been keeping up as much, but this is the local Fox 9 St. Paul stream of it. But wow, man. A lot
Are
of,
we coming back into riot? PORNE. Do you remember when
Well,
Baltimore
okay.
was burning? How it
Well,
was,
no, it was
like lasted for
I
a month.
remember,
The riots.
I remember sitting on
And
my
they called
couch in 2013 watching the Michael Brown Ferguson protests.
Yep.
Very similar. The only difference is that I don't know. There's nobody defending the police here.
Thank you, Anita.
Like, Donald Trump himself is like, I have directed the FBI to prosecute these people. Like, no one's
Yeah.
defending these people. So it is fascinating to see what happens. You can see it. There's like, it's weird. I saw a lot of people asking, like, why are the police showing up so heavily armed in riot gear for this, and they weren't when you had the open carry protests in Michigan and the guys with guns protesting the lockdowns, right? My personal theory is because the police had nothing to worry. Like, when you know something has been done wrong, and you know you've wronged someone, you're more defensive. You're gonna show up. There's a line from a movie I like where I say one always hates what it wrongs, right? Where like,
Yeah.
when you feel like these people showing up to protest the lockdown, the police are like, we've done nothing to these people. They have no reason to hate us. We're just whatever. But when it's like, oh no, like these people are protesting for a good point. This isn't just a group of people protesting lockdowns for no reason. Like, we actually killed somebody. They have good reason to be angry. I think that's why I've seen the police try to respond. Not respond. That's why they came in all their gear. They're probably scared as hell because they know, like, we're in the wrong here. Like,
Yeah.
we are going to have to defend ourselves. I mean, you saw, let's see if I can go back to what's going on in Los Angeles, but, I mean, you saw that they're actually in Los Angeles right now, picturing what's going on in Minneapolis, but, I mean, you saw, like, seriously, a group of people just mob and surround a police car and break out all the windows until he was forced to peel off and it looks like injure somebody in the process.
Yeah. So
Like, there's, like, if people are rightfully so that angry at you, they're going to come out to defend themselves because they know, like, damn, we fucked up. Like, they're definitely going to be coming for us and they're probably not in the wrong. So I just think that's why we've seen the response so different because they're like, they actually have to defend themselves now.
So
before, people weren't, like, going to shoot cops, but now people are.
So, woo, there's your answer about the cough drop button. Hyben17 says, Yang moment in the intro. If Trump is the scissors, then I'm the rock,
Okay,
please.
I got that. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Also, Anita Burke said, Super Chat works for me. Awesome. It kind of reminds me of Hooked on Phonics works for me. You might be a little bit too young to remember those commercials, Cody, but I'm not. Also, Anthony Raimundo Barron says hello from El Paso. We got an El Paso brother up here in the chat.
El Paso.
And JFB suggests maybe a modern day intro with Yang, Swalwell, Sanders, Trump, etc. Get all the current politician moments. That could work.
You can actually see in the video right now. Yeah, I mean, I was more speaking. I wasn't speaking that the crowd would fight the paramedics. Just the paramedics probably be scared to go in. But yeah, you can actually see it in LA. They've like escorted some firefighters over to help whoever got injured.
So I didn't notice that. Did the cop car, did the CHP car roll over him or what?
I'm assuming when he was peeling off out of there, maybe someone got caught under a tire. It looked like a sign or something that got slammed through a window. That could have clipped him. Who knows what? They could have got pushed over by a group of people for all we know. It's just interesting, man. It's crazy. It's always crazy to see these things break down. Like I remember watching the Michael Brown Ferguson protests, and it's just because you can kind of tell.
Was that 2013?
I think it was. But you can kind of tell the moment when it tips from. Because here's the thing. This stuff's on the news. People see this stuff going on, right? You eventually do start getting a lot of out-of-town agitators. People that are just bored. And they're we could show up to this
bad time to have political violence is when there's a bunch of people that can take a bus and show up.
It's just there's anywhere. It happened in Ferguson where you can kind of see it happen. Where there was the initial protest that was like people who lived in Ferguson protesting against local police. And then it was like random people were burning buildings. And that doesn't make any there's one thing that's funny, like not exclusive to conservatives. Like conservatives are like, oh, why are they burning down their own buildings? That doesn't make any sense. It's like they're not, dude. People show up from out of town saying we can loot here because there's riots, and they loot and burn. And then everyone's like, they say they want people to burn in their own cities. It's like, dude, most of the time it isn't. It's out of towners who are like, cool, free pass. So all hell's breaking loose. I can do whatever I want, and those people show up.
So we got 3 important comments here. Fred the Felon has joined the chat and has said maybe he should take the truck to downtown LA. He actually texted me earlier, and I believe he was cruising through Orange County, which is about an hour south of us. But yeah, that means he's only 20 minutes from downtown LA. However, Fred, my brother, I don't know if you remember the LA riots, but the first guy that got killed was a trucker. Was a trucker driving his Peterbilt straight down the highway, had no idea what was going on. They stopped traffic, dragged him out, and beat him so hard I think his brain hemorrhaged on the way to the hospital. So, dog, depends on how tough you are. I think one-on-one, I think you can handle 2 or 3, but I don't know if you can handle 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying?
What's interesting too, though? Trev Third said he wonders how many people are going to get COVID now with all these riots. If we do not have big second and third waves on the back of all these protests and riots, open up sports stadiums, man.
Yeah.
If we could protest without spreading the coronavirus, we can probably go to sporting events. It's actually almost like a weird litmus test. It's a weird, kind of one of those moments where you're kind of forced into finding out how effective something is, right? And then again, just what's going on in Los Angeles.
By the way, it works for me as a common excuse in software development, which I didn't know.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dude, this is maybe not software development. This is the classic. The classic joke is that you type in a problem you're having on your computer and you find some forum and someone's like, I'm having the exact same problem. And you scroll down and they're just like, never mind, fixed. It's like, ow, I want to know. What'd you do? That's always the classic, right? That somebody who's just fix the problem. But I have the same problem. How did you fix it? You're not telling me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I can't see exactly that, but they're definitely stretching out whoever. That is crazy stuff, man. Again, though, it's one of those things that you'll notice, I don't know who's on the other side of these protests aside from, obviously in the streets, the police, right? But, culturally, this really is kind of a popular movement that, police should not be doing this, obviously. And I think it's... I know it's unpopular, but my personal stance, I'm hoping this is the one where we can start. Because honestly, there is a little bit when people say it is a race thing and this would never happen to white people, it doesn't make white people feel like allies or whatever. It makes them feel like they're off the hook and they don't have to care. Which is, one, not true because they'll do that to anybody. Police will just kill you. One of my favorite stories, there was a guy in Fresno. Maybe he was just some crazy person. Who knows? There was a guy in Fresno. Pull the story. I'll pull it up. Guy in Fresno, right? He said that he noticed that Fresno PD out here in California, he said he caught Fresno PD and basically a scam. So what they would do is they would drive through like discount store parking lots. They'd run everyone's license plates, try to find somebody who's behind on tickets or in a warrant or something, and they'd wait and they'd pull them over as soon as they left the parking center, which is illegal. You're not allowed to do that. Cops can't do that, right? Yeah. So this guy went to the media, he went to the police, he went to the local government, and he kept saying, this is wrong, this needs to be stopped. As a result, local police harassed him. Every day. They drive by. There's videos. There's videos and photos he has, because he had cameras in his house eventually, he alleges it was police, I don't know who else it would be, pulling up in front of his house in the minivan, and they pull the sliding door in the minivan, and they're pointing a thermal camera at his house to check and see if he's home or not. Mm-hmm. He said he thought people were breaking in, crazy stuff. Anyway, one day he posts on social media, hey guys, this is everything I have, everything I know. If I'm dead, it was not a suicide. Like, something's about to happen to me. He was like trying to get a gun, crazy stuff, right? Well, turns out his house burned down, and he was in it and he died.
Okay.
However, I believe there was conflicting reports in the autopsies. I think one coroner said he was stabbed to death and then burned in the burning house, as if he was murdered and then the house was burned down.
Wow.
Anyway, it happened in Fresno. As far as I know, no one ever stood anything. I think the official story is he was just some kook who I guess killed himself in a house fire. I don't know. He had some pretty compelling evidence, if I can pull it up for you guys. But that is how the police do this. Not every police officer, right? But police in this country will just kill anyone. They don't care about the race of the people. And I think is when we come together as citizens and Americans and say this is baloney, and it's not so fractured that, like, how dare X race cop do this to? It's like, dude, how dare a cop do it to a citizen? Like, if a cop of any race can do it to a citizen of any race, then they can do it to anyone else. They really can. I'm not gonna say where it's worse or better, but until there's no longer an excuse for people to say, well, I guess they don't target white people. I guess I don't got to worry about it because they'll never target me, right? Like, until that excuse is stopped given to people and people realize, no, they'll do it to anybody. I don't think we're going to see any real change because too many people will just, it's not going to
Well, too many also people prefer the narrative, and it's so easily propagated by a media that's dishonest, sensationalist, and
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, here we go.
Wretched.
So this is let me get the ads changed. This is local source here, Fresno Bee, talking about this case. The death of John Lang in a suspicious house fire ruled suicide. Fresno County coroners ruled the death of a man found in a burning central Fresno home in January as a suicide, going back to 2016. Fresno police originally reported that John Lang, 51, had been stabbed in his abdomen and upper back on January 20th. Homicide detectives began investigating. Tony Body, a spokesman for the Fresno County Sheriff and Coroner, said Thursday that Lang had 3 superficial self-inflicted stab wounds to his chest and no cuts to his back, despite initial reports by law enforcement, which is kind of weird. How do you misdiagnose literal stabs to the back?
Yeah.
Oh, we thought he was stabbing his back. I don't know, you can stab your back, right? Mm-hmm. That's a thing people do. Now, again, why is this even a thing that some guy died in a house fire with stab wounds? And this is what? Okay, so Fresno Police Lieutenant Burke Farah, head of the department's homicide unit, said the confusion about the wounds was a result of incorrect information released at the scene by Lieutenant Joe Gomez. Huh. He is waiting for the official coroner's report, but he said that information gathered during the detective's investigation also pointed to suicide. But here's the thing. It's like, oh, how convenient that when the guy said that the detectives on the scene told him this thing happened that would be incriminating for you, that just happened to be false later. Other official documents. Yeah. Again, I don't want to distract too much from the test from what's going on right now, but I just want to make the point that, like, yes, the police overstep their bounds and literally murder people a lot, all the time, and we'll focus on the racial element of it, and that lets people off the hook. They're able to say, well, I'm not black, guess they won't kill me, which is one, kind of wrong. People are just going to do it anyway. You could say it's wrong for them to do it. People kind of do stuff like that. They're kind of, self-interested. But two, it's just the fact that it's not even true. It's not. That guy's an American. He's not a black guy. He's an American who got killed by the police. Like, why the narrative always goes away from that? Drives me crazy. Why does the narrative always run away from, oh, that's an American like me? Yeah. Why is that? No, he's not like you at all. As a matter of fact, he's completely different than you. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. He's just a tax-paying American who was killed by the police who were supposed to protect him. That's messed up. But that narrative gets lost too much. And I'm like,
I
feel like
welcome the
that's
day.
the effective narrative, I feel like.
I welcome the day that all of these foolish racial monikers go away and we start calling ourselves by what we really are, citizens. Citizens versus government. Okay? And what is the interaction? Are my civil rights being violated or are they not? I cannot wait until we are back in that driver's seat. Okay? I'm actually going to go back to a couple of the comments here because there's some funny stuff going on.
Man. I mean, they have really.
Well, it's interesting.
So that looks like is that a post? It was like a government building. You asked what they were defending before. Oh, let me move over so you can see it better. That looks like a government building of some sort.
Yeah. It almost looks like. Man.
Here's the thing, though. You know that there's even here. Like this is the thing about getting into like. I don't know. I was just saying the police literally kill you, right? But you know, there's cops right now standing there that like this fucking sucks, dude. Like. I shouldn't be here. I don't want to fight these people. It's wrong what those other cops did. And now my life's at risk because some total asshole is out there taking people's lives. And I happen to have the same job as him. Like, I know those cops exist too. It sucks for them. But at the same time, like, you have to hold these individuals responsible. Now, the way the cops in this particular incident were thrown under the bus is interesting to me, though. Because they never do that, man. They never say all of them were fired and the FBI's charging.
Yeah.
That's never which tells me though, because also, and sometimes we do find out later that there was other circumstances and it was kind of a gray story and there was things going back on. I think with the way this one was filmed, because like I said, like with some, you could say what was happening before they turned the cameras on, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if this guy literally like threw a puppy with bombs strapped into it into a cafe before that happened, it still would have been ridiculous and excessive to do what they did. So it's not even an element here, and yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's interesting to see people are like, I mean, I get it. People are legitimately pissed off, and what's weird though is there seems to be most people.
Well, the
on
other
same
thing is
page
right
this
now
time.
people are insanely bored and they're frustrated. And one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard from multiple philosophers have said this, is that the awful truth that we need to recognize as a society is the fact that war is fun. That's the awful truth that we need to recognize as a society. And you want to know what? If I'm being told to stay at home by a nanny government, or my parents tell me I got to stay at home, I want to sneak out the back window. If the government tells me I need to stay at home, I want to go check out these riots and see what's going on. And the sad truth about this reality is it looks fun. That's what people are thinking. And it's only going to keep going that way until there's something else fun to do. Like, I don't know, feed your family. I got to tell you, I'm surprised this didn't start earlier, my man. I'm surprised this did not start earlier. Have we figured out what the building is yet?
No, just some government building. It appears now damn, dude. Look, this is the full Target that's just open season.
Jeez,
that's
man.
Crazy, dude. That's a full it's one.
Is this going to be another LA riots? Do you remember the LA riots?
Yeah, I think it was a whole 9 months old. Well, also the thing about LA, when it comes to LA riots, you have to say which one.
Yeah, that's true. That's what makes us so cool.
Was it the Crenshaw riots in the 60s? Where was it? There was riots in the 60s, and then we had the Rodney King riots in the 90s. It's why you have to refer to them as the Rodney King riots, because LA riots isn't specific enough. LA race riots isn't specific enough. People literally will say which one, which LA race riot. Oh, that one. I mean, that is one of the things about our own personal history and out here in LA. But again, like I've seen tons of smaller little strip mall kind of stores, right? You know what I'm talking about, like the kind of store 1 or 2 staff work in. I've seen tons of those get looted. Cell phone stores, clothing stores, like small like hat stores, or it's like one specialized thing and they're small. An entire Target, I have not seen that, dude. If anyone checking links, I guarantee you there's social media videos, people. I wonder what it looks like inside that Target. Because even like in like the LA, like the Rodney King riots, I don't think they were like looting. There were some grocery stores, but I mean, like, dude, like look at the parking lot's busy. Like there's that many people showing up to get. And I did see photos actually, people looting this. I didn't know it was this Target. Look, you see these guys running down like, oh, let's get here before it's gone. But again, this is the other thing. Go back to my point from a few minutes ago. How many of these people live in the city and are doing this to protest how angry they are about what happened? How many of these people live a county over that are like, dude, we can go rob from the Target? and no one's going to care. No one's going to stop us. No one's going to find us. And then, unfortunately, this kind of gets wrapped into the. This has nothing to do with a protest. Maybe some people are locals or just don't care, but like, if you're legitimately upset about the police killing somebody, you don't go steal a flat screen. These people aren't legitimately upset, but these aren't the protesters. These are mostly, not all, but I guarantee you a lot of these are agitators from other parts of the area where they're just like, cool, I can go rob a Target right now. Why not? Like, look, you literally just walking in, walking out. An entire Target's been opened up. Like you can see like the garbage just inside the door, like bags and stuff thrown on the floor. I mean, that's insane, man. And there's no police around to do anything. There's too many people. Wow.
I was about to say, see, this is why people don't understand how we are not protected by the government as much as we would like to think we are. And this is why things like the Second Amendment and the right to defend yourself, stand your ground, private property rights, so on and so forth, are so crucial. Okay? Because the thin veneer of society melts so quickly. The thin veneer of protection and order melts so quickly. And my heart breaks for this community because there's going to be lasting impacts of that. People aren't going to want to invest in that community because they'll think, at any given moment,
Just for a little quick aside, if you drive through the parts of Los Angeles that were hit by the Rodney King riots, you'll notice they don't have the local grocery store Vons. They have John's. Because a lot of grocery stores got looted and just never came back to those communities. But again, what sucks though is most of the time, I think maybe some of those I wasn't alive, but a lot of times I just watch these things unfold live on the internet. I watch the live streams, I read the tweets, and you just notice at a certain point, it's like people aren't even protesting anymore. They're just stealing things and burning stuff. And I always feel like that's kind of where you hit that point where enough people have seen the news. Because, dude, imagine you're sitting at home right now, 25 minutes out of St. Paul, and you see this. You're like, hot damn. I'm a half hour away from whatever I can grab at a Target. Whether you care about what happened or not. I mean, what's that a crib, cub? I don't know, a clothing store or something? I couldn't really see the name of it.
That's a big one.
And that's like a mega Target, too.
Seriously.
Look at that. It's a full parking lot.
Yeah.
And I mean,
this is intense. Do you think this will get as big as the LA riots? The LA riots were unmitigated violence for 7 days where the cops fled.
The video of what happened was probably Rodney King video was more shocking, but like Rodney King also lived, right? Like, and he was beaten but lived. Like this guy was just killed on camera.
Yeah. And you couldn't really see much because it was from a bad angle.
It was nighttime and like a camcorder and and then it was almost more like he lost a fight with police very badly. It wasn't that the police did the right thing, but you know what I mean? Like this was just like a guy was lying on the ground being killed. Because same thing with the Rodney King thing. That was what struck people. Was like when he's lying there not moving and they're just hitting him with sticks. You're like, that seems a bit excessive. That seems to be when people always go over the line, right? Because I don't know. I have to imagine if two people look like a regular guy and a cop swinging at each other, blasting each other's face with punches, you're not going to be like, well, how dare they? It's just, okay, they're fighting. But once it gets to like they're not fighting, you're just kind of abusing and beating this person, things change. But with this one with the video, like the police have no leg to stand on here. They literally fired everyone involved and said, we had nothing to do with this. Please don't hate us. Please don't do this. But it's too late. Like the video exists.
I don't know. And it's hard to say how effective can you say your training is and how effective are your hiring practices if 5 dudes are in on this.
And also,
like you don't have a leg to stand on.
There's a thing. I'm going to go to sports analogies. You always like sports analogies. Football, use football, for example. In American football, generally speaking, if you want to gauge on a metric of like teams coached well or not, you look at the penalties they commit. Bottom line being, a well-coached team with a coach that players respect and listen to are not going to be screwing around and doing dumb stuff and getting penalized, right? So it does kind of speak to that. A police force with good leadership good leadership will tell the people underneath you, if you screw around, you will be punished and we won't defend you, right? For whatever reason, these officers thought they could do that. So that does reflect on the leadership. For whatever reason, they thought they can get away with this. And why? Why did your employees think they could get away with doing that? Is a very important question, I think.
Or why was there immediate... Okay, I can get why somebody goes down the road of being pissed off and violent. I can get why urges are that way. I can get why anger's that way. And that's why you have a partner. That's why you have a partner. So if you're going to lose your cool, your partner's there to back you up and break you away. We're all human. All of us mess up and lose our cool at some point in our life. Get unhinged. Okay? That's why you have a partner. This bro had like 5 partners. And at what point is your team, okay, just a losing team when not one person steps up and says, hey, whoa, hold on. Because it only takes one dissenter to stop it. It only takes one dissenter to say, hey, yo, chill out. Okay? And I think that is the general consensus that fuels this rage. Not a one guy thing, a multiple guy thing. I think that's what fuels the anger.
Yeah, God.
So JFB says, curious.
Oh,
is there a third person managing the chat video? No, it's me and Cody.
Yeah.
My fingers are flying.
It's all me.
Cody's much better at than I am.
So whenever there's mistakes with the video, you can blame me. It is my fault. You'll notice I'll be like kind of like scatterbrained doing stuff. It's because I'm like, it's because, yeah. I think that might be a fire station they're standing around only because it looks like there's a bar called Hook and Ladder right next to it. Trying to figure out this building in Minneapolis. But here's the other thing, right? Like people do just start coming. That does look a little bit like zombie apocalypse beginnings, doesn't it? The floor with all the trash and the barricades, the riot gear. Right. This is probably like watching this stuff probably is the first time I've seen stuff like this since the Ferguson protests. I do think, which is kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy because I don't know. I don't want to get too far into a bunch of stuff, but hopefully it is people just being stir crazy. Because you can see downtown LA even, they've now blocked off an entire off-ramp.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is only going to get bigger because here's the other thing.
Downtown.
This is just the tip of the
country.
iceberg. I know the way Los Angeles handles things. A bunch of people that are really pissed off, that feel like they've been marginalized for the past 5 or 6 years are going to say, whoa, that worked? Let's do it again. And the crowd's going to be triple the size tomorrow.
I don't think there's going to be riots in L.A. that continue. I think in Minneapolis, they'll definitely.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
L.A.
I was conflating the two.
This is just, I think, more of a like a flashpoint kind of thing. This just happened kind of protest. I mean, because you'll notice the L.A. demonstration, it appears to be they've blocked off like a singular off-ramp. The Alameda Street, it looks like. That's different than what we've seen, like multiple. I mean, like, dude, an entire Target being looted and no police showing up anywhere or doing anything. That is insane. Like, what do you think the monetary value of the inventory in a Target that size is?
Of actual just stock on the shelves?
Stuff to be looted from the building. I guarantee you they got into the back rooms. I mean, like, the
easily
Target
$500,000 to $600,000.
Yeah, you think the kind of, and then you think they're going to...
Well, somebody in the chat pointed out, VTran said, oh, well, insurance is going to cover it. Yeah, I'm not worried about the Target. I'm worried about the community. I worked at Orkin, for example, for 7 years, and I got pretty close with basically some of the top 5 to top 10 executives and decision makers in this international billion-dollar company, right? And one of them made a joke that he said, I've never done market research. And we're like, what? And he says, yeah, whenever we're going to open up a branch, I've never done market research. And we said, what do you mean? Because you always have to do market research before you open up a branch of a business somewhere. And he said, no, I just open up branches in cities that have Walmarts because I know Walmart did the market research about whether or not there's a population base and enough money and so on and so forth, right? So intellectually, people make decisions based upon the success or the failure of other large entities, right? It gets out that this is the community and this is the part of town where things burn to the ground because the locals will get pissed and large decision makers of large corporations, of businesses, venture capitalists, hands off. We don't want to mess with this. We don't want to mess with this place. There's enough places we can invest in that we don't need to invest in the place where they might just loot our store and we have to make a $500,000 insurance claim, which yes, Target will be covered for, but they're going to be paying for it. That $600,000 is going to be made back by the insurance company because they're going to raise the premium on Target.
I mean,
and big box
I don't
dealer.
feel bad for Target though, right?
It's the beginning. People don't
But
realize
it's
there
the
are
larger-
ramifications to these things.
Okay, but I don't know. Maybe. But I think the larger thing here, though, is if you want to... I'm not in Minneapolis. I don't know how big the protests are. I can't tell you on the street how bad things are. All I can tell you, though, is when the police don't even bother to show up to an entire mega Target being looted, like everything pulled off the walls, that speaks to something, man. That's my only point. I mean, who knows what it means? Who knows if Target's going to say, hey, look, we of course stand with this community and we understand that. You know what I mean? Who knows that end of it? But for the here and now, is this a big deal that's going on right now? That kind of stuff doesn't happen. Liquor stores, not liquor stores, but corner stores, buildings that are the size of a one-story small house can get looted a lot.
Yeah.
But like a mega store, they generally are not, you don't see them. I guess I take that back. I've seen Targets, I've seen Walmarts and stuff looted through, but it's not a good sign when the police aren't bothering to protect
if
the
that
business
whole
that
crowd
large.
got pissed. Cody, like, look at this picture. If that whole crowd got pissed. And it's interesting. We were talking about, could cops have guns yesterday? I think here's a really interesting question. If that whole crowd got pissed, who would win? Those 50 or so? Nah, I'd say 35 or so
Throwing
cops.
tear gas back into the crowd again.
Or the
Hey,
500.
They were asking themselves that same question now. Look, tear gas going back. Hey, get away from us. But this is the important thing to always keep in mind, though, right? Is that the police, the senators, the Congress people, the judges, they're in the minority. We outnumber them by like 1,000,000 to 1. All these institutions. And I personally think it's the reason why there's interest trying to fracture us into different interest groups. Like, we're not Americans. Like, we're Jewish Americans, we're African Americans, we're Hispanic Americans, we're Korean Americans, we're Chinese Americans, blah, 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 because then they can fracture us. Because then when we're separated into 90 different groups, individually we don't outnumber them. But when we're just Americans, we outnumber these people, and they know it. Whoa, that fireworks going off? What was that?
Probably a bottle rocket.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I just caught it in the corner of my eye. But I don't know. It just when everyone gets together, it's crazy how bad we outnumber them. Yeah, but when they separate us into 1,000,000 different subcategories and subdivisions, right? Then we don't outnumber them anymore, and we just turn on each other, and it's really frustrating. Yeah, maybe it is bottle rockets, but you can see little mini fireworks going off in the air.
Yeah, I mean, at what point is that helicopter going to run out of fuel, too? That's the other thing. They've been up there for like 2 hours. I was just kind of thinking that.
Well, I think they have two. They have one above the target and one over here. No, this is the target. Yeah. Never mind. So this is the spill off from the target. Because the target would be to the south of where they're filming. So this is all spilling off of the target.
Harkins Aquatics brings up an interesting point and some insight here. I was off by a function of 4, Cody. Well, actually, not all Targets are the same, obviously, but
That's
Harkins
a massive
Aquatic.
one, though.
Yeah, Harkins Aquatic says, I worked for Target for 7 years in loss prevention. That store had about 2 to 2.5 million in inventory.
That's what I was thinking.
I'd said 500,000 to 600,000, but wow.
Because you remember, like, the grocery, like the dry food stuff probably adds up quick, and then you have all the televisions, the PlayStations, all like the video games. You have all the cameras.
So here's something interesting. Steven
You have
Yates.
the laptops. It's just adding up.
And this goes into Cody's theory, where I really don't think, I think socioeconomics, and I had a half African American, half white professor in college that I had a deep conversation with her. She was half white, half black, right? And I said, I really don't think race is as important as socioeconomic class. And she said, you want to know what? There's a lot of science that says socioeconomics trumps race. But everybody's afraid to say it, and you'll get kicked out of the academic community if you write a paper on it. But she said, that's my theory as well. And Stephen Yeats here says they should have more diverse policies departments so the cops in the streets reflect the census of the community. I got to tell you, when they're pissed off at cops and people who feel like they're marginalized by an administration and by a government that is keeping them down, I got to tell you, when you are angry at the man, anger is colorblind, baby.
I think
they're going after that uniform. They ain't going after
the other direction. Is that by having police staffs that more represented the community, there'd be less animosity because the police would be. I have to admit, dude, I personally, there is some racial components. Obviously, a lot of racial components I think do get more regional and specific. I do not know the racial components of Minneapolis. I don't live there, right? However, I do think there is a larger general sense of you could have a police force that 100% represents the community it serves, and you will have bad cops killing people and abusing it. Because the problem you run into is abuse of authority. Right? The problem you're running into cops that are abusing authority. You're running into cops that are violent. You're running into just individuals that are violent and like punitive, really, and want to hurt other people. And well, when you add a racial element to it, it could make it worse. When you strip the racial element away, it doesn't get rid of the other stuff. If you still have these violent, bitter, awful people that are abusing power, the race doesn't matter. They'll still just beat you and kill you anyway. And I don't want to like. It's one of the problems I see sometimes where we kind of focus on a narrow facet of something, and then we throw our hands up and say it's done. Woo! We did it. We solved the problem, and then we didn't because we were looking at a symptom at best. And I don't know. I feel like you could do that. You could have police that completely represented their communities, and you'd have bad shoots. You'd have abusive cops. You'd have people getting beaten, people getting falsely arrested, people falsely imprisoned. Because dude, you can look in communities. There's communities in this country that are basically all white people with all white sheriffs, and they're mostly poor rednecks, and they get police harassing them all the time.
Oh yeah,
doing the same stuff. But
the sad thing is that those cases,
shooting them dead. It happens all the
those
same.
abuses. I actually subscribe to several YouTube channels where they specifically track cop cams and abuses of civil authority, and the amount of incompetence in police forces where they will just gun down a dude, who's stepping out of a car that didn't realize they pulled up behind him. Just the things that get caught on body cam, and these heinous violations of civil rights go completely unnoticed by the media because it does not fulfill their narrative. And that is one of my biggest.
My I guess my Marxist revolutionary theory on that. I think it's just a dividing tactic. Like I said, if Americans were upset that a fellow American was killed by police, it'd be different. Then if we're all supposed to
exactly.
If we're all supposed to look at it a certain perspective, it's like, well, why can't we just zoom out
say that again?
and
say
start
that again.
with this affects everybody because that guy's an American citizen? Why don't we just zoom out and start there?
So no,
not
that
what
was
did
profound.
he do? What city is he in? Who fucking cares, man? Like, why is an American being killed by the police? Why is that not the fundamental issue?
Yeah, that's actually pretty profound. So you're saying that the racial narrative of cop versus citizen violence, of law enforcement versus citizen violence, is a division tactic because it distracts from this idea that the government violated a man's civil rights, and it now becomes a white versus black issue.
I don't know. I'm not in the rooms when they make these decisions. All I'm saying is that I do see that happen. I make this joke and lament it all the time, but it's like, how come I have to use a bunch of qualifiers and I can't just say that like Tiger Woods is a great American?
Yeah. Kobe
Bryant was a great American. Why do we have to have qualifiers forever? It's like, you'll notice they'll start insisting you have qualifiers for certain people. No, they're this kind of American or that kind of American. I'm like, dude, why? Why am I separating my... And I get like, it's one thing to like say I'm part of a community I identify with, and I get that. But when it's bigger stuff like this, like, why do I have to... I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why there seems to be a group of people interested in making sure that Americans as a whole cannot unite and bond over being mistreated by police. And we have to separate and fracture into different racial groups and different racial grievances. I don't know why we can't be Americans that are upset. Yeah. Americans that are like, I'm done with this. Fellow Americans should not have this put upon them. That's what always drives me crazy. It's like, why can't we all just be Americans? Because here again, like I said, when we're all Americans, there's a shitload of us compared to the government. When we're 40 other groups fractured,
we are
across,
the people.
Then we are separated, and then it is easier for them to control and maneuver and manipulate us. The bigger, the smaller the box they get you in, the less of a threat you are, and that's the point. I feel like they want to draw smaller and smaller boxes, so there's less people uniting on things. So we aren't just saying like, yeah, what the heck is the government doing to us? It's, why is the government doing this to that community? Why is the government doing this to that community? Why is the government doing this to that community? It's like, why is the government doing any of this to any of us? Well, don't ask that question because, again, there's too many of us. There's not as many, specific people, right?
Yeah.
Like, holy cow, pretty soon I'm like, well, I'm a half Italian, half Jewish, specific former descent. I'll be in a tiny fractured splinter group with no real influence. That's the other thing. It steals the influence. I don't know. I'm done ranting.
So we got it. No, it's all good. It's all good. JFB, thank you for the super chat. It says Pompeo recently said Hong Kong has basically lost any autonomy with this as the heat ramps up. Do you think we'll end up in a Cold War with China? We actually always have been. our intelligence communities have been fighting each other for a really long time. There's already an arms race that is going on in which China's trying to rip off stealth technology and replicate a lot of our stuff. We've had to put a hold on that. They're constantly trying to cyber attack our infrastructure, and we go back and forth with them. I would say there's a silent war in the highest echelons already with China. That the American population is still not really aware of, and both parties try and keep silent because they're interested in the transactional economic relationship continuing. But I'm curious to see how the world reacts to COVID-19 and how much China absolutely shirks all responsibility for it. And if the world can stop sucking from the teat of cheap labor that China gives them so they can get their stuff cheap. And if our consumerism can be put aside for a little bit, if we can go back to our core values as Americans and not value cheap stuff over civil rights and bring some of our manufacturing back to America, stop letting the Chinese have so much power because we want them to build our stuff for cheap, I think we will actually, hopefully, I hope that there is a period of Cold War with China in the sense that it is an awakening. We got another super chat too.
Hold on, we were very much already in the Cold War with China, dude. Like, I mean, I guess not to the point he brought up, but I mean, like, maybe Cold War is the wrong point. But
we'll say Michael Alexander's super chat because you're saying exactly what he is.
Oh, I thought you addressed it already. Sorry, where Michael Alexander said that. I had the opportunity to ask a former Commander Sergeant of the Air Force if we were entering a Cold War with China. He said it seemed apparent that we are.
Master Sergeant.
Whatever. I get everything wrong. I apologize.
It's all good.
But to get to that point, I mean, I've been saying this for a while, right? It's like I am big on, and I admit maybe I'm being a bit hypocritical here, but I'm big on the idea of logical conclusions to rhetoric, right? If I start making a really good case for why we should cut you up and eat you, at a certain point you have to start wondering, like, are you trying to like actually do that? Right? Like, you're building a compelling case for it.
Yeah.
You listen to how American government's talking about China, right? Like, okay, so the virus is China's fault. Trying to lie to the WHO. We're going to start saying that China has stooges running the WHO.
You say that because you're racist against Chinese people.
Whatever. We're going to say the Chinese are using their intelligence agencies to turn Western liberal sensibilities against themselves. We're saying the Chinese are encroaching in the South China Sea. We're saying the Chinese are doing X, Y. At what point are the Chinese going to respond in like, it's always weird when people are like, oh yeah, we'll just tariff China. We'll just take all our manufacturing away from China. We'll just impose sanctions on China.
But see, but
I'm saying, as far as like
we're bloviating.
What I'm saying is what the next step will be, right? And it's like, and I'm sure China sits on its hand and does nothing, right? Like, they're also an autonomous nation that will be counter-moving against us. I follow almost every major Chinese news source, and let me tell you something. They will never pass up the opportunity to tweet out an article spiking the football on the American death count of coronavirus. They love it. Oh, you can read the gloating in the headlines of like Americans reach new record because there's legit animosity between both countries, and we're media attacking both countries. We found out China was recently putting pressure on Google to not to ban English sayings that were critical of the Chinese.
Yeah.
Google stepped in to ban literal Chinese characters that were critical of the Chinese government. You can't access YouTube in China. Why is that happening? It's because we're both putting pressure on each other through every mean we have. Military pressure is the least favorable, and we're still both doing it. Every now and then, China will march their ships around the South China Sea. We have our planes down there. Dude, I remember at one point, a Disney film came out, and in the Disney film, for like a couple frames, you could see a map of the globe, right?
Yeah.
In this Disney film, they had attributed the part of the South China Sea China's trying to claim as their own. They had given them that when they had drawn their map of the world. It's a Pixar film.
Yeah.
That no legitimate Western maps are drawn that way because China's basically just trying to claim they own the ocean around them, right? Like, that's not how it works. However, Pixar gave them that. I believe it was Disney Pixar.
Yeah.
So all this stuff's already going on before. Let's say the Chinese government is running statements saying that the coronavirus outbreak originated in America and America should pay. And the American government's running statements saying the coronavirus outbreak originated in China and China should pay. What's the logical conclusion here? If we're taking both sides at face value, where does that end? When both sides accuse each other of being at fault.
Yeah.
We're going to start asking, so what should we do with people that are at fault? Whoever was responsible, should we send them a bill?
Yep.
And then who's responsible? Us or China?
China.
That's what we're going to say. What do you think China's going to say? And is China just going to be like, hey, you got us. Whoops. I guess you're right, Americans. Yeah. They're going to act in their best interest as well and be like, that's ridiculous.
Ray
you
from
can't
nowhere
prove it started here.
Ray from Nowhere asks you, Cody, what percentage of these protesters will vote and for who? You are the oracle. Oracle-eyes.
The regular demonstrators, I would say there is probably a bit of an irony that a lot of political activists don't actually turn up and vote because they feel like they've done their part. I would say that, again, a lot of these people don't vote for anyone. A lot of these people probably don't even care this happened. The people looting the Target don't even know the guy's name or why they're out here. They just turned the news on and saw you can go loot the local Target. I think that's what happens a lot. A lot of people that are more plugged in like us, I mean, if you're watching our stream, you found us talking about internet, you're kind of more plugged in politically on the internet, right? We kind of feel like that's the world everyone exists in. Dude, there's people who just do real life problems 24 hours a day. They don't know any of this. They might saw the video on social media and got upset, but they don't know all the context. And then the local news tells them you're allowed to go you're allowed to go steal from this building, and they show up and do it.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that's a large percentage of voters.
It's a wave that's caused by a ripple.
Yeah, but these are politically look at this Target, man. The sun's down. They're gonna start parking cars up front with high beams so you can see inside. I mean, and you know what's even scarier? What if somebody in that Target grabbed the TV you wanted to steal?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who's gonna stop you from doing whatever you need to do to get the things you feel like you need? Seriously. Honestly, I might just park my car in the parking lot and hit someone with a hammer, grab their stuff, and drive out of there. Save me a trip inside.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop you? There's no enforcement anymore, and I don't know. Really far aside, but again, I feel like that is not voters, but they're also not demonstrators and protesters. They're opportunists. A lot of these people are opportunists, and I think a large percentage are opportunists. As far as who they vote for, I honestly don't know, man. Like, you could say, oh, probably Democrats they're protesting, probably Biden, but I don't know, man. Donald Trump just tweeted he told the FBI to investigate this. My only point is Trump supporters are mad as hell about this too. They don't want to be bootlickers. They don't like that kind of stuff. They get memed on all the time for being that, but this time they're like, hell no, man, I'm not going to stand for this at all. So it could be anyone, but I would say the larger thing is those aren't voters you see burning buildings. No, but they're also not really they're not political actors either. They're looters. They're opportunists. You know, they're here to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do that. Let's say.
I was about to say, let's hear what he's saying.
Seeking answers.
Why is the man
this is the
who
commercial.
killed George Floyd not in jail?
City leaders demanding charges
earlier
be
today,
brought
though.
as protesters continue outside Minneapolis' 3rd precinct, even
Well, that's the police
violent at
station.
times.
By the way, this is hilarious, the music they have. They've got like this upbeat corporate music.
Destructible criminal types of
Wait, or is this
Fox 9
music we're
News at
playing in the
9
background?
starts right now.
Oh, that's horrible intro music.
Tensions remain high today outside the 3rd precinct.
Okay, and
Look, this guy's batting down the water bottles they're throwing
that's
at
from
him.
earlier today.
He's playing baseball.
It's almost sundown there now.
Milk for the tear gas. Dude, these people know what they're doing. I'm liking this.
Look, it's a lot.
Power to the people, man. I ain't afraid of no overweight cop.
Oh, it is crazy to see that though.
So, anyway, let's go over a couple of comments here before we gotta end this chat. Actually, I'm sweating bullets in here, and we once again went over because we were having fun. Today was a really fun chat. Yeah. But somebody here says that debt is just an illusion. Interesting. Say that to the collectors. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder how many people have their face on camera and get caught. Yeah, that was the other thing. I'm really surprised at some of these protesters
I know,
because
dude, mask
there's
up,
cameras
man. You're allowed
everywhere.
But you're allowed to mask up now.
Yeah.
They encourage it. Mask up, dude. What are you doing walking around with a mask on?
You have to be safe.
Crazy.
From the Rona.
Exactly.
You know?
I'm protecting others
And it's
from
no
spreading
longer a crime.
coronavirus.
Because in a lot of these places, unless you're stupid and you're Seattle, where they still haven't made it a crime to be wearing a mask during a felony, you know what I'm saying? What better time to actually wreak whatever havoc and violence you wanted to under the guise of, oh, it's not a crime. I was trying to protect myself from coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if there ever were an excuse, this is not an advocacy on behalf of problem solver politics of any kind of political violence whatsoever, but I could see a lawyer in court saying, hey, you told us we have to wear masks when we're outside. My client is not, guilty of X, Y, and Z crime. I could see that literally being an argument.
Like, you probably should be wearing a mask out there right now. It's just interesting. That's why anyone that gets caught not wearing a mask, I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? This is like the best. I don't know. However, it also does mean it is a perfect storm for is that someone brought up downtown LA. We were watching the downtown LA stuff earlier. Dude, it was crazy. Right when we jumped into what was going on in LA when they were at the 101, we saw a little replay of them mobbing a police car. And I mean, that guy lucky he got out. I mean, that probably wouldn't have killed him, but he's still lucky he got out of there. Who knows what happens? The moron. One individual squad car. We got some
dueling rappers here? What is this? Dueling protesters?
No, they're interviewing people. They're just running through a highlight package right now on the Minnesota, the St. Paul, Minneapolis live stream of the protests. And they're obviously. This is crazy to me. I almost kind of want to see if I could pull up any videos or anything of what's going on. Like, imagine what it looks like inside that Target right now. Like, just think of it. I mean, it's got to be a madhouse, man.
It says violent protests in DTLA right now.
Oh, the downtown LA protests.
Interesting.
My
local, 101 could be downtown, but what we were looking at.
This is the local LA feed right now. I'll see if I can pull something else up, but that's local LA feed right now.
Christian Solid just got here. He says you can't end the show with an angry emoji, but we're probably going to be ending pretty soon here. Christian Solid, I apologize. Gigi and stuff asks, what time will the fire start? Dude, that's true. And that's when uncontrolled violent political violence gets real cray-cray, is when there's fire involved.
Is this them marching back out into the freeways in LA or what? I can't tell, but yeah.
Yeah. Dude. I wonder who's the organizing body. Has there anybody that's claimed responsibility for this yet?
Los Angeles, it was a Black Lives Matter protest.
Okay, BLM.
Yeah. Minneapolis, it's just, I mean, it's just happening, right? Like,
yeah. When the riots start, bro.
Oh, wow.
Where do you want to go?
I actually found a video.
Well, I was just thinking, do you want to start making a shopping list for when the riots start here? I could use a new big screen TV, and I'll hold the TV if you can take a couple of laptops.
Hold on. My point exactly, dude. My point exactly. People are upset in the community, so the police are busy, and assholes like us.
Yeah.
But this is a short video I found of what's going on inside that Target, actually. No sound, I believe. But it's just they actually go inside. This is reported from earlier. It's the Target in Minneapolis. Look at that, man.
Boom.
Wow.
Shakalaka. That looks just like the entrance of our Target, too.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of standardize. You see people run it.
Yeah. Look at that. Oh, that one guy's got a mask. You go, brother. Good on you.
Yeah, wear masks, man.
They left all the underwear. What did they take? What did they take? Oh, the food's gone. Man, they took the food.
Well, you also have to imagine people showing up late. The really bad actors that got there very late, we're just grabbing whatever.
Dude, he's got a vacuum. See, that guy's practical. He's taking a vacuum and some luggage.
That looks like literally whatever was still on the shelf for me to grab. Does it not?
No, I think this brother wants to clean his house before visiting his grandparents in Minneapolis.
That's just whatever's left, dude.
All right.
People definitely looking for. People are looking for higher ticket items than it looks like shelf model vacuums and come on, floor display vacuums, no way. But yeah, there was some footage from the inside of that. Very crazy, man. Very, very crazy what's going on. Man, that is still one of the larger buildings I've seen gutted and looting in a while. So that's worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, this is pretty intense, man. Sly Cactus asks, so live stream Thursday, make it 4 days in a row. Yeah, we're actually live streaming every night this week. Did you not get the memo? Every day, every day.
Oh, wow. Are they not showing? I'm seeing some photos and stuff coming out.
Hit it.
Let me see. It looks like the Target's on fire now.
Oh, snap. We got to pull that up, dude. Maybe we can't stop right now.
I'm pulling up.
Bummer it's so hot in here. By the way, this is our dedication to you as an audience and to our craft. I'm pretty confident it's, what would you say in here, at least 90 degrees, Cody?
Maybe. So here's a stream from the ground I just pulled up.
All right.
This is the ground level stream.
While you're pulling that up, I'm going to read the super chats.
Okay, it's on the screen right now. I've seen some images of it. But someone asked when the fire's starting. It looks like the fires are starting. It looks like they're starting to burn some of the buildings in that area with the Target. I'm trying to get some I see some photos
Yeah.
That appear to
We
show
got a
it up
super
pretty
chat here. Thank you very much, JFB. JFB! In the tri-state, outside of orders, more people are on the streets. Friends say trains in NYC are packed at times. Yeah, of course. And how is it on your side? Oh, everybody's tired of this nonsense, and the leftism's got to stop. The statism's got to stop, or else the people are going to go nuts, man. The county of Los Angeles just came out with their parameters today of how they're going to start up the schools again, and it's going to be social distancing, 6 feet between every student. The teachers union got everything it wanted. Only 16 students per classroom now, okay? And they're only allowed to walk down one side of the hallway. The students are masks at all times. In 105-degree heat in Southern California, do you think you're going to get my kindergartner kid to be wearing a mask all day? Come on, let's get real. There are parents by the tens of thousands applying for private schools and for charter school and homeschooling right now. I know more parents that are applying to homeschool their kids now because they're working from home and their employment has transitioned than ever before. In fact, this will be a hilarious and ironic weakening of the control of the teachers union over California politics. If they go through with all of this statism and leftism, it will ironically drive so many people out of the public sphere that the teachers union will have hamstrung itself. It will cripple itself because this is untenable. You can't tell an 8-year-old he has to be in a mask all day, no recess, lunch can't be with his friends, he can't socialize with other kids on the playground. Every kid's going to be issued one ball. What is this, a zoo? What is this, a prison? You get 15 minutes to stand in the daylight so you get vitamin D so you don't, self-cancel. Like, what is this? Is it a school or is it a prison? And they're making it a lot more like a prison. And so, anyway, it is. How is it on our side, JFB? It's nuts. California is psycho, and this is what you get when you get single-party rule and the leftists get what they want. That's all I can say about that. And my heart breaks for these communities that are going through it because first off, if there's people that pissed, that angry, usually they're pissed and angry for a reason. So obviously there's some kind of pressure that has been mounting and there's been lots of hurt that has gone unaddressed by the government, principally, I would suggest. And their reaction now is going to do damage, but I don't blame the anger. You know what I'm saying? I can see where the anger is coming from. And it'll have lasting impact, and that lasting impact is tragic. So I'm loving the fact you're able to find all these streams, Cody. Where are you going? What's your source on this? I mean, you whipped up like 5 on the ground streams, like literally within 3 minutes there. That was impressive, my man.
Just Google, man.
Oh, no, that's more than just Google, man. You are the oracle.
Just Google, here.
So there's some interesting stats here. Apparently, according to chat,
Minneapolis live stream, we just kept clicking through them.
Vistatronic says electronics and baby formula goes first. Oh, that's true. Yeah. If you get that baby formula,
well, also, you know, it probably goes too. I guarantee you, a lot of people grabbing like reusable razor blades. They're kind of shit you don't want to buy. You know, like if I'm stealing the stuff I hate. Like, God, $45 for razor refills. You know, like, that's what you steal. I imagine baby formula is a great example, probably, right? How much is baby food? Dang, I don't want to buy that. Sucks. Yeah, if I could steal those razor blades, I'd be stuffing my pockets with them, man. Never have to spend $50 on those stupid little plastic blades again. Love it.
So Dustin says, let's all chip in to buy them a portable AC unit. LOL. No, it's not going to be a portable AC unit. In fact, you know what, Cody? Hold on. Do we have that 4th camera up? No, we don't. Dang it.
We're down to just 2.
We're down to just these 2. I'm gonna fix those. We don't have. We got the studio shot. Oh, it's not on. Dang it.
It's not on or plugged in.
It's not on or plugged in. Well, I'm gonna have to plug that in so these guys can see it next time. We're going hardcore and installing a mini split system. However, your super chats, actually, that's what it goes for. Is everything you see on the screen right now has basically been paid for by contributions from viewers like you. So that's why joining the channel is actually so helpful. The super chats are totally helpful. We put all of that into the show, baby, and that's how we keep it coming and keep it working. So thank you very much for the support. There's some really good comments here.
Hold on.
Somebody said, I don't think it's leftism. I think it's Californianism. I don't know. No, man. We're single party rule here. California's libertarian. I've lived through this.
If you ask Cardin why the 2001 Yankees, despite 9/11 happening a few months before, still had to lose a heartbreaking Game 7
AOC.
On the road
AOC's
to the
fault.
Arizona Diamondbacks, god dang SJ Dubs, dude. Here's a video, by the way, though. Here's a video of the inside of the Target that is now on fire. I guess you can see just the smoke
Now,
in the
was that
haze.
arson out of anger, or was it an accident? Have they determined that yet?
It happened in the process of the looting. I think it was a bad faith
People
fire.
are trying to break into the cash registers. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was thinking about looting the goods, but yeah, you could be able to
How
at least
much are
get
they- how
500
much-
coin.
Maybe. How much they have in cash stores, really, right?
Well,
Couple
towards the
$100
end of the day? Come on.
The store never opened. This was the morning. They never opened. It seems they got
Okay.
Look at that, though. You know what's crazier to me, though? There's still some stuff left. You figure the people who just be grabbing stuff they don't even need, like, screw it, man. It's all free. But yeah, you can see some of the emergency lights flickering on and off. So it's weird some of the lights are on inside. I thought it'd be darker inside. But yeah, that is what's going on right now. So, okay, look, it appears they recently... So here's the full Twitter thread of the target.
Okay.
So this guy just got here about 26 minutes ago.
Okay.
Looters have broken in. So Cub Foods. I'm not from the Minneapolis area. I guess Cub Foods is the other big thing here. You can see people breaking into. He had a video here of the looters successfully breached the plywood barrier and started streaming. And I believe this is the grocer he's talking about here. I don't think this is the Target because we had seen they'd been in the Target already. Now entering through the back door of the grocery store. So this is that same grocer they're talking about. And then finally we have the video here. And then... Oh, okay. And after the fire, the journalist wisely, this Ricardo Lopez, R.L. Journo, shout out to him, he wisely decided to leave the Target when they started breaking open the cash registers and the fire started. That's when they're like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be here anymore. Crazy stuff, though, man. Crazy stuff. That's really fascinating. That's what's going on. But anyway, we did go long. It's super hot. It's probably time to wrap it up here. But yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of looking at some of the videos here. It's crazy. Like I said, I haven't seen something like this since I remember the Michael Brown Ferguson protests. Those are really bad as well, but this is probably the most intense.
All right, I put the camera on our portable AC system, Cody. If you switch to camera 4, there she blows. There she blows. That's going to be installed this week, so we're not sweating bullets up in here, man. Anyway, Vistatronic says LA wrote the book on rioting, and Gigi and stuff says California libertarian, no way in hell. No, culturally very much so. We're surfs up, you do you, whatever, man. We're good. Very much live and let live. Like we're down. That's actually why it was so easy for single party rule to take root, is because appealing to the best aspects of the average Californian, you're able to twist all kinds of leftism into everything. That, and then the absolute lackadaisical, pathetic performance of the Republican Party here post-Reagan. Sly Cactus says, here's a super chat for a mini-split fan from your fan. Dude, Sly Cactus, that is like your third pun today. Good on you. Solid punnery. If this were the Jim Rome show, I would say rack him. All right, just rack him. That was good. Thank you, Sly Cactus. That's one step closer to us getting this thing installed. Also, another person says, where was it? Oh, yeah. Gigi and stuff says something hilarious. Says, LA was getting jealous. Rioting in Minnesota. We need to get in on that. Like, yeah, we're going to start competing. Whoa. And Andy Meows, I broke the fourth wall for you and showed that mini split AC because you challenged me to, quote, break the fourth wall. We broke it, baby. We broke it. Cody, what do you got?
You're literally talking to chat. What do you mean break the fourth wall?
Showing in the studio, Andy Mouse said break the fourth wall. So that's what got me up, and I put that camera right on it. I said, I'm going to prove it.
I would say turning to the camera and speaking directly to the audience and referring to what they say to you is breaking the fourth wall. That's just my stance. I'm
fine.
But I just wanted to, I had been reading some reports that they had stepped up to basically, I mean, you can see things are starting to get bad now that the sun's going down.
And there's no cops in sight. Look at that. No cops in sight.
You can tell the Target's been cleaned out when they move on to Dollar Tree.
Thank you, Dustin.
Right, because you could run out with both arms full from Dollar Tree, and it's like you stole $35 worth of stuff. It's like, I guess it's kind of, you know what I mean? It's not like you're walking out with a $1,000 TV and a $500 camera. It's like you're walking out with like Dollar Tree goods. But still, you're just seeing that people, and again, I'm not all, but I guarantee you, a lot of these people are people, opportunists who saw, hey, free stuff. I don't care about any of this.
Brings up a good point.
And they're driving in to take part.
And I hadn't thought of this either, that gift cards need to be validated. Wouldn't you feel like the biggest chump if you were walking by that gift card thing and you stole like 20 grand in Amazon and Best Buy gift cards and stuff, and you're counting them, and then you realized, oh crap, these never got validated.
You would be a fool. You'd be a fool.
Oh, that'd be a heartbreak,
no, you'd be a fool for trying to steal them.
That'd be a heartbreak.
You ever notice how there's no security on them anyways? Don't let you steal them in the first place. They don't care. They're worth nothing. No, the bigger stuff is. I wonder who the smart guy was who grabbed the Magic the Gathering cards was.
Interesting.
Hey, you pull a couple good Magic cards, you get a few $100. Why not?
So we got an interesting question here. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Definitely going towards that AC. Suvana Vong says, I tried to contribute the super chat, but Apple would not let me continue. Please advise. Yeah, if you don't have Apple Pay and you're on an iPhone, I don't think you can do super chats, but you can always just give us a donation directly through PayPal on our site, problemsolverpolitics.com. It's also always in the description. Cody, you got something else? Hit us.
Talking about what happened earlier, in LA with the protester who was injured. Just pulled the story up right now.
Okay.
What happened there, it looks like, was when there was a individual, they have photos, I think. There was an individual on the hood of the police car when the police car sped off.
Oh,
and they fell
snap.
off. And
poor guy.
Yeah, I guess he was laying motionless until they came to grab him.
Oh,
I mean, you
snap.
could see things were getting really hot there for a second.
And that cop is probably freaked out because who knows which one of those guys has got like a piece of rebar that's going to go through the
He's
windshield
probably
and
just
into your
freaked
skull.
out because imagine what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Glass breaking, people screaming. He's probably just like, and again,
You can't see all around you. You got this heavy suit on that makes it so you can't walk around. Yeah.
Well, they're not exactly scuba divers, but you also know, I think the other thing is, in your head kind of like, these people are protesting. I mean, obviously it wasn't Minneapolis police, but like, people are really upset at police right now because police screwed up, right? So it's kind of also like, crap, I'm like in the middle of it. You know what I mean? It's not like the kind of thing where you could tell yourself, yeah, but like, why would they be mad at me? And they knew, like, oh God, I gotta get out of here. This is bad. But just an update on what happened when we were watching the video. So anyone watching, that is what happened. He was taken to a hospital.
Yeah. So what's interesting here is DVJ461. Welcome back, my man. Says some really funny stuff here. That apparently the pros know gift cards are pointless. I didn't know there was a professional class of looters. We got to get in on this, Cody.
Thieves of any kind, yeah. Professional thieves.
I think it's thieves with a V. Anyway, DVJ also continues to say, used to work at a Dwayne Reed. They go for the shampoo. Is that true? I would love to see some data on looting. Like, what is generally the first items taken?
How about this, Carden? Go into a store.
Yeah.
How about this? Next time you're checking out of the store, all the stuff where you're like, God, I really got to buy this for $40. Imagine not having to.
So is that really, if you could loot, like, just tell me right now, Cody, really fast.
I already told you. Like, razor blades that cost $55
razor blades.
a pack.
If there's a mother freaking big screen TV sitting right there, you're going to pass the big screen TV to go for the Mach 3?
Two things. One, those go quick. And again, remember what I said. What if someone else wants that TV?
Well, then that's when Cody the Oracle shows his Italian side, man. That's when he's like, you want this TV?
That is why.
Come get this TV.
I would probably go to lower competition, cheaper things I don't want to buy anyway. Also,
you're selling out, bro. War is fun.
I'm selling out.
War is fun.
I'm selling out.
That's when you got to be like, yo, Cody, you know who your friends are when you're sick or you're in jail or you're looting and you get in a street fight and you want to know if your buddy just comes in like that. Boom. That's when you know you got a real friend. That's when you know you got a real friend. When you get in a street fight and boom, he's right there on your back. No questions asked. Just ferocious. Teeth bared. Knuckles swinging. You feel me? I do that for you, bro. If you got in a fight over Mach 3 razor blades, I go to the mat with the guy, dude. I'll be like, boom, get off my buddy Cody. That's his Sensodyne. That's his Mach 3. He wants the shit quattro. Boom, roundhouse. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't do that for me with my big screen?
If you were stealing a television, I wouldn't fight someone.
That's funny. Anthony Raimundo Barron says, the art of war. War is fun.
Yeah.
Shadow Wolf
now
points
the
out.
AutoZone's on fire. Wow.
The AutoZone's on fire now, too? You got to pull that up.
I don't know if I can without pulling up just someone else's stream entirely.
Trumper for Yang says, Mormons go to jail? Nah. Yeah, dude. Psh, I got my mugshot. You can look it up online, bro.
Video unavailable. I keep getting video unavailable on
Let me see. Relax says, I never looted. My life is not complete. And Trevor Topsick says, steal the electric razor instead. That's true. Cody, why don't you just go electric? That way you only have to steal one thing. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. It's the loot that keeps on looting.
Yeah.
You know? Every time you shave, and you get this nice graceful, clean, smooth, am I doing the electric shaving thing right? Every time you get that nice finish on your chin, you'll be like, boom, I looted this. Not even I stole this. I looted
Okay,
this.
I'm done. I think we're at the end. We're just ranting now.
Okay, cool. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys. This was an awesome chat. Make sure, if you don't already, that you follow us on Twitter. You can also follow us on Facebook and on the gram of Insta at Problem Solver Politics, or on Twitter at PSP Radio 1. If you want to contribute to after this, don't forget you can always go to problemsolverpolitics.com. There's a little donate button right there if you want to contribute to the channel, or consider just joining the channel. It's an inexpensive way to support us. We have a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, and hopefully you guys have a lot of fun too. This is Problem Solver Politics. We will see you guys in the next live stream.